right, so let's say we had a national sales tax on a just recovering national economy, then what? So Jonathan Hoenig and Megan Carberry, Tom Belesis, and Quentin Hardy. Now, Quentin, I just finished reading your wonderful Forbes cover story on Mark Hurd over at HP. It was very, very good. And I'm thinking we start slapping a sales tax on all those computers and HP printers that he sells and all the other fancy stuff that he's getting into. Trouble, no?
Neil, we complain about the deficit, we talk about wasteful spending, but the failure to collect enough revenues is part of the puzzle. Now, I think taxing consumption is probably a good way to go. So is getting rid of a lot of loopholes that are given to large corporations, including, I'm sorry to say, HP. But I think this is a step in the right direction, yeah.
Tom, I would actually agree with him. It's a momentarily weak event here on my part, but what Quentin is saying, I agree with. I think we should have a consumption tax, and that's the way we go.
Get that man to a hospital.
I'm kidding here. I just think that wait, hold on, Megan, okay? I'm just saying, Tom, do you think that we need both? Why do we have to have both?
We don't need both. First of all, Neil, what problem is a VAT, tax going to solve? Deficits? Well, I have an answer to our dear government. Spend less.
Well, they can't. It's ironic. They won't, they don't.
Well, Neil, it's ironic that Obama campaigned on wealth redistribution and taxing the rich. Now, all of a sudden, he flip-flops, and he's going to implement another regressive tax to the low-income earners, which is going to hurt the most, which he campaigned that he wanted to help the most. I mean, it's comical. I mean, it really is.
Megan, comical?
I think that I want to spend more efficiently. I'm hearing a lot of these things, and they're great points. But what I'm coming back to is that we need to make...
Mine or Tom's or Quentin's?
Yours for sure, Neil. Yours
Excellent.
for sure.
Continue.
Mine are the points.
What I think that we need to do is make necessary bureaucracy more nimble. And I know those two words don't go together very often, but we're not going to move off to some cave with Jonathan and have a Darwinian fight out. We've got the social contract. I think Americans want to know what we are going to spend our money on effectively. If we do this and we put it towards the deficit, is that really going to go there?
Well, actually, you're right. And Jonathan, I mean... We don't address, as Tom points out, as Megan got to touch on, just focus on where the money's going, just that we need more money to keep it going, right?
Right, of course, Neil, and the VAT tax is the next in the line because essentially you're running out of rich people to tax, so now let's break that campaign promise about those making below, was it 200 or 250?
But, Jonathan, would you be for a VAT tax in exchange for the income tax?
Bingo, Neil. That's the thing. I mean, conceptually, a VAT tax is a terrific idea.
Right.
It treats everybody equally. It doesn't single out taxes. We've gone through the litany of this, especially the fact that it's very simple now at a time that everyone's struggling to figure out their tax forms ahead of April 15th. A VAT tax is simple. The problem is it comes, as you pointed out, in addition to the income tax, not replacing it.
So, Quentin, on that level...
That's a huge hit on low-income families as well.
Well, that's the reality in Europe, but that's the way they do it. Now, so, Quentin, what I'm wondering is, if we get both, and that's what Volker's kind of hinting here, we're going to get both, then what happens to this economy?
Then we get it in the solar plexus.
Okay.
And I don't think we're going to get it both in that bad a way. You know what I'd really like to see? Tax enforcement of existing laws. There are so many cheats, corporate and individual, and I'm paying my share, and it makes me angry that
I don't believe you are, Quentin. I don't believe you are paying your share. I don't believe you are.
I'm on this show every week. You don't call that paying?
All right, I'm joking. I'm joking. I just think that, you know, this idea of going after waste, fraud, and abuse, Tom, and going after non-compliance, and all meritorious, and all very right, but all very never done.
Right. I mean, listen, this VAT tax is going to be a disaster here as it is in Europe. That's the bottom line.
And,
I mean,
and of course,
it's going to add to an already bloated government, that is spending too much money in order to prevent that fraud, which is running rampant all over Europe.
Spending you will cut. Name some spending you're going to cut, and it's going to have to be defense or Medicare or Medicaid or Social Security, because that's where it is.
Right, but we don't. I could name 1,000 things we would cut. Like, I would reduce the government to just painting the line in the middle of the road, you know, on highways, and that would be it.
It's not enough.
It's not enough.
But of course,
so we have a lot more, guys. We're going to have more on this later on, but it does seem to be an inexhaustible issue here. On April 15th, that is tax day, and that is the day we're in Atlanta, where a lot of folks are going to be protesting what they've just committed to Uncle Sam. $45 for carry-on luggage. Thought you'd escape that by carrying your luggage on. The Spirit Airlines starting that, which, Tom, gets me back to my general view, just fly commando, you know. What do you think of that?
I mean, it's unfortunate. I mean, we're in a tough economy now. I mean, no one likes to pay extra fees for anything. I mean, we want to lower fees to have people spend more in their businesses. But, you know, at this point, I mean, airlines charging for extra individual service like excess carry-on baggage doesn't really bother me. But again, at the end of the day, I mean, we're in a time right now where
just a bag with your belongings.
I agree.
Maybe
I
just
agree.
your undies.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair to pay for what you order, but unfortunately now, I mean,
when's
airlines.
the last time you even flew commercial? All right. Megan, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, well, it's a sign of the times. I guess things could be worse. I heard Ryanair in Europe is charging you to go to the bathroom on the plane. That's a bit much, but what is going on here?
Well, as long as they don't charge me when the air mask falls down and I can save myself, I suppose that's where I have to draw the line.
$5 if you want to live. What is going on? Why can't they, Jonathan, why can't they just be honest and give you sort of a basic price rather than say, we give you the teaser rate, oh, but we didn't include your bag, we didn't include the fact that, you know.
Well, Neil, I don't understand. You love the consumption tax when it comes to people paying for what they consume. This is essentially the consumption tax. If people want to try to bring a suitcase and stuff it into the overhead bin, they should pay, of course, for the weight that they bring on the plane.
Yeah, but if it's a small bag, I'm just saying, you know, you bring a small bag on and you're still being charged for it. When the check bag thing, all right, fine.
Right.
But, you know, why don't you just have a uniform price thing rather than nickel and diming people to death?
Neil, to be honest, I think you're
definitely
whining. Because, with respectfully, sir, respectfully, I just want to say, listen,
remove him.
Spirit Air will...
All right, Quentin.
Customers don't like to pay
Quentin,
for things they were
Megan,
getting
you're
for
interrupting.
free.
Megan, have her removed. All right, Quentin, your thoughts.
Jonathan can talk that way because he's a skinny guy, because for sure they're going to be charging fat people next.
Oh, that was a borderline insult. Have you removed? All right, so Tom,
Neil,
we are now... Bye-bye. All right, so...
I mean,
you're alone.
I agree with you.
All right, well, there you go.
Okay.
No, bring them all back, Robbie. Bring them all back. My point is, you know, why can't there just be truth in advertising here?
You know, I think they're taking some
Neil,
advice from the Obama administration.
Oh,
Okay,
it's Obama's fault. Go ahead.
Neil, let me just point out, Neil, that air travel is dirt cheap. It's barely increased in price since the 1970s.
Yes.
And Spirit Airlines, which essentially positions itself as kind of the wall.
But it's about choice between airlines, too. I'd like to be with an airline that is upfront with me about what I'm paying for and not show up
They are upfront, Megan.
We don't know. It's a mess, but Spirit Air, I mean, if you're a Spirit, you're not going to be charged more. But just don't carry luggage with you, I guess. That'll do it.